Wow, we've got some major news that might actually shed some light on where Taylor Swift is with her endorsement. More on that in just a bit, but this is not going to be the first endorsement Kamala Harris gets from a really important group. In fact, groups all across the country have been supporting Kamala Harris in unprecedented ways. Groups that Donald Trump has been going after, Black Men for Harris, White Men for Harris. These are groups that Trump is going to win, probably, in terms of overall vote share. He might get more people voting for him from these groups, but the goal of the Harris campaign isn't to win white men. I mean, we would love that, but the goal is to just eat away at his margins. And these groups coming out in support of her, A, gives a permission structure for other people within that identity group to vote for her, and B, is an actual effort of those groups to chip away at Donald Trump's margins. How you win a presidential campaign isn't by completely flipping someone's support. It's by chipping away at what they generally do get support. Like, for instance, in Georgia, Joe Biden lost suburban voters. He lost suburban voters. But he lost them less badly than Hillary Clinton did. So he ended up winning the state. The Atlanta metro area voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020. Republican margins shrank in most of them that year. A similar result occurred in the state's metro population. Thus, both urban and suburban Georgia looked stronger for Democrats despite solid Republican support in non-metropolitan Georgia, which saw a 40% Trump margin. So this is how you win presidential elections, is by chipping away at margins. Let's look at the groups who are doing just that. And Taylor Swift might be the most important one of all. Identity groups are mobilizing for Kamala Harris. This article goes through some of the people who have come out in support of Harris. 44,000 Black women came together on a Zoom and raised $1 million. Black Men, a group that Donald Trump has been going after and trying to win, came together and a similar result happened. White Women's for Harris mobilization resulted in the largest Zoom call in history. The largest Zoom call in history. We don't talk about this enough. And they raised more than $8.5 million in less than 24 hours. There's also been gatherings from Black queer men for Kamala Harris, South Asian women for Kamala Harris, Latinas for Kamala Harris, and Native women and white men for Harris. They've all raised more than $15 million across these groups. That's a huge deal and something that I feel like is not being spoken about enough in the media. So that brings us to today, where Taylor Swift, her fans, gathered yesterday on Zoom with Elizabeth Warren, with Kirsten Gillibrand, and, quote, the original cat lady, Carole King, and raised nearly $140,000. $140,000. I'm going to tell you why this matters in just a minute. Let's get some more context. So the group has amassed about 250 million followers on social media since Joe Biden dropped. 250 million followers. How many people are in America? 330? So obviously not all these people live in the country. There might be some duplicates, meaning like, you know, if you follow one Swiftie account, you follow another. But this is a huge groundswell of people. Donald Trump doesn't even have that many followers across all of his social media platforms. So this is a really big deal. More than 26,000 people on a Tuesday night, yesterday night, joined a call just to raise money for Kamala. And these are all Taylor Swift fans. Here's a quote from the group. "We are not waiting on Taylor to show up to show her support for Harris. We are doing this outside of her, using this platform of Swifties to get people involved in the election. Taylor did throw her support towards Joe Biden. This is really important during the 2020 election." So I think this is a huge sign that if there are 23,000 Taylor Swift fans, are doing the reverse of what those other groups did, where those other groups are creating a permission structure for other groups of people. What this group is doing is creating a permission structure for Taylor Swift to come out in support of Kamala Harris. Now, of course, she did this in 2020. In her documentary, you can tell that she wasn't even like worried about it. It was her management that was like, "Taylor, are you sure you want to do this? You're going to be upsetting half the country." And she said, "No, I need to do this. Why else have a platform if not to use it for good? So I don't know if anything were to have changed between now and 2024. Or prior to the switch out, there were celebrities like The Rock who had backed Biden, who were staying out of it. Dr. Phil, who has like now become like a right-wing pundit, before stayed out of it, now supporting Trump. So there has been some movement in terms of like high-profile people. So I'm not sure if Taylor Swift would feel some additional pressure to just not say anything. But again, what they are doing is creating a permission structure. If there are 23,000 Swifties supporting Kamala Harris in this way, 250 million followers across them saying that they are in support of Kamala Harris, they're basically saying, Taylor, go ahead, come out. We are going to support you. So this is a big deal, and you're not going to hear about this in the news, but you're going to hear about it here. And that's what it makes me feel like. It's only a matter of time before Taylor Swift endorses, and there has been reporting that says that if Taylor Swift were to come out and endorse, it actually does make a difference. Like normally celebrity endorsements are like, okay, like who cares? Like Katy Perry, no offense to Katy Perry, but who cares? Taylor Swift has such the ability to control attention and the media, and her followers trust her implicitly. If she were to come out in support of Kamala Harris, it would actually move the needle. Here's some reporting on that. Okay, so first off, when doing research for this, I actually learned that Oprah Winfrey in 2008, it was the first time she ever actually endorsed a candidate when she endorsed Obama. Obama got 1 million extra votes. It is thought because of Oprah's endorsement. So celebrity endorsements can make a difference. And here we go, that a poll found that overall 18% of Americans would be more likely to vote for a Swift-backed candidate. And that was before, when it was just Joe Biden. And Taylor Swift has an impact on male voters, which is who Harris is having trouble with, and younger voters. She's not having trouble with them. 27% of male voters said they'd be more likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by Taylor Swift, compared to just 11% of female voters. So this would be a huge deal if that were to hold, because Kamala Harris needs those voters. Again, like we said, she just needs to chip away. She's to chip away at those margins. And so Taylor Swift could ultimately do that. So I think it's only a matter of when, not if, Taylor Swift formally backs Kamala Harris. And it could be one of the reasons why Kamala Harris becomes the first female president of the United States.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?